Police launching a new effort to cut down on violent crime in your community.
And on your side's Beth Russo is live at the Tampa Police Department right now. Beth, the new initiative replacing a controversial one that's been in place for years.
Absolutely, Allison. And the acting police chief here in Tampa says that one of the best ways to fight violent crime is through positive engagement with his officers and the community. So,
who thinks that's going to work? Hit one if you think that all these victims of supremacy, these disenfranchised saints out here, who thinks that all they need is, just positive engagement with police officers? That's going to stop all this stuff. Who believes that?
absolutely, Allison. And the acting police chief here in Tampa says that one of the best ways to fight violent crime is through positive engagement with his officers and the community. So he's hoping that the Safety Awareness for Everyone program is going to make that happen. Now, like you just heard Allison mention, this new initiative is actually going to be replacing the city's crime-free housing program, which encouraged landlords to make tenants sign an agreement that they could be evicted if they're involved in criminal activity.
What was wrong with that? What in the world was wrong with that? That was controversial. That was controversial. In an area where crime is rampant and everyone knows who's doing it. So it's not like a mystery. It could be one thing if it was a mystery. Like, who's doing this? Everyone knows who's doing it. No, everyone knows. Even the people who don't want to say it. Even the people who want to coddle the criminals. They know because they're coddling the criminals. They're making excuses. They're not telling you that these people aren't doing it. They're just telling you, well, they're doing it because of this, and they need more of this, and you're not doing that, and Trump, and all this stuff. But they're not saying that these people aren't doing it. So everyone knows who's doing it. So if these people are asking, look, you got to sign a contract. If you come over here and, you're shooting people and you're robbing people and carjacking people and having open air drug markets in the courtyard or the breezeways, playing a knockout game, robbing people, home invasions. If you're doing that type of stuff, man, we want you to sign a contract saying that you can be evicted. That was controversial. It had to be replaced. I wonder why.
Now, like you just heard Allison mention, this new initiative is actually going to be replacing the city's crime-free housing program, which encouraged landlords to make tenants sign an agreement that they could be evicted if they're involved in criminal activity. Civil rights groups have been calling for an end to the crime-free housing program, saying that the measure unfairly puts people out on the streets.
Well, carjackers unfairly put people out of their cars. I mean, home invaders unfairly put people out of their homes too. Robbers unfairly put people out of their cell phones and their wallets. What is going on here, man? What are we talking about? They're still, in a lot of these places, they're having a hard time. And this is Florida. Tampa. So it's, But they're still having a hard time. They still want to hold on to some of this stuff, this pro-criminal stuff. And they're using civil rights. Civil rights? What are they talking about?
Civil rights groups have been calling for an end to the crime-free housing program, saying that the measure unfairly puts people out on the streets. The interim chief tells 8 on Your Side that the SAFE plan puts apartment, neighborhood, and business watches all under that same umbrella. He says the technology that they're using allows landlords and community watches to easily access the information they need about crime in their area through a dashboard so that they can take preventative measures.
This is an opportunity for us to really get.
So we finally found a police chief that's not a Sunman. And it only took us a couple weeks, man. I'm proud of myself, man. I thought I was never going to do another video where the city we were covering, the police chief wasn't a Sunman or Sun Sister.
This is an opportunity for us to really get to the next level of our engagement with them. It's real time. They don't have to wait a month for an email that we used to send about what's happening in their neighborhoods. They can go online every day and see it. It updates itself every day. So it kind of gets them closer to real-time activity.
And so the interim police chief is going to be presenting this plan to City Council this morning at their meeting at 9 o'clock. We'll have any updates for you here on air and on the WFLA app. We're live downtown this morning. Beth Russo, 8 on Your Side.
Between Friday and Sunday, a total of 9 people were shot in Indianapolis in 7 different cases. 3 people were killed, bringing the total number of homicides in Indianapolis this year to at least 253, adding to what was already a record amount of violence.
WRTV's Stephanie Wade is reporting tonight from Indy's northwest side with a look at what's going on in that community to curb the growing crime.
Over the weekend, 2 men were found shot here in the 800 block of Eugene Street on Indy's northwest side. Now, this is not the first shooting in this area or even on this street in recent months, begging the question, what's going on and who's working to stop the violence?
Violence is going to occur, that's the world, but it's getting close to home. I don't want it to be too late for it to it be your son before you finally decide to say something.
Another program. Another Sunman out here trying to help, save the community. And I don't know this guy. I don't know what his background is. I don't know what his intentions. I don't know what his heart lies, whether he's really for this or he's just here for a check from a 501c3 nonprofit grant from the government or from a private donor or whatever that these programs rely on. And, it's basically a job. This is a gig. They create these gigs. These people create these jobs for themselves. And they're funded by the government many times. And if there were 9 shootings, in a few days, man, and it's out of control over there, what good is this doing? He may be the greatest guy in the world, but what good is this doing? It's getting exponentially worse every day. That's the thing about these programs. What good are they doing? Are they telling us it would be way worse than it is without these programs? Is that the message? Because that may be the message. You think it's bad now. We only had 9 shootings and 3 people dead. We would have had 27 shootings and 9 people dead in that same period if it wasn't for, Is that what it is?
Violence is going to occur, that's the world, but it's getting close to home. I don't want it to be too late for it to it be your son before you finally decide to say something.
It gets harder and harder for Terrence Hood to witness the violence occurring in his community.
We killing each other. It has to be a better way than to pick up a gun. The murderers are getting younger and younger. 16, 15, 17. This is a trend. I don't want to get numb to young black men losing their lives.
Growing up on the West Side himself, he founded a nonprofit called Hood to Hood, based in Hawville for underprivileged kids and teens to show them a better way.
I've seen what these young kids have seen, and I took that road that they're continuing to take, and all my friends took that road, and everybody went to prison. So I feel like when they see someone who's been down that path, turn their life around, they will follow that. Well written, you got a great mind, man. proud of you. Even if you don't win.
He teaches them conflict resolution, he says, and how to change their community by giving back to it.
And if you give, it humbles you. And when you're humbled, you change. It's real hard to commit violence when someone is looking out for you and holding your hand and teaching you right from wrong and just showing you that there's still good men and good women out there. It takes a village to raise these kids. And you can't give up on them after they make one mistake. I've been there.
Hood to Hood hosts food drives and delivers food to the elderly on the west side, saying it's the community's responsibility to get involved, to put an end to all this violence.
They're going to follow what they see. And that's the way you change them, is let them see you doing good. Let them see you giving back. Let them see that you care about the people. You picking up trash in the neighborhood, or you making sure they get back and forth to school. Let them see that, and they will emulate that, because that's what they look up to.
Who agrees with that? Who thinks that being a positive brother in the community, being a community conscious guy picks up trash and looks out for kids, gives out, maybe turkeys on Thanksgiving or book bags on the first day of school or something like that. Who thinks that kids process that and say, you know what, I want to be like that guy. And I'm going to stop running around with my clique doing whatever it is that we do. I'm going to give up all the gravitas and prestige that comes with that in my community, in my dysfunctional community. And I'm going to just, be a square, be a hard-working guy. And I'm going to start going to school, even though I'm behind reading. Like, I read at a 3rd grade level and I'm in the 9th grade. I do math it ain't even a level. Like, they can't even calculate my level of math because it's so low that, and I don't do well in class. I can't sit down, can't sit still for longer than 30 minutes. I can't be quiet and let the teacher talk. I'm disruptive in class, and, I like to fight. And, I barely like to go to school. Only reason I go to school is for the girls. I'm going to turn around on a dime and start bringing home homework to my home with my single mother and all her other kids by other men. In my violent neighborhood, full of thugs and gangsters, many worse than I am. And I'm just going to start doing homework, and I don't think it works like that, man. It just doesn't work like that, man. And I think he knows that too. I swear this brother knows that, man. He don't look like no square, man. He looks, he would, if the vibes I'm picking up from him are correct, he knows that too. He may just be deluded. He may be out of answers. He may be like me. There's no solution. There's no solution. If this is the solution, then there is no solution.
They're going to follow what they see. And that's the way you change them, is let them see you doing good. Let them see you giving back. Let them see that you care about the people. You picking up trash in the neighborhood, or you making sure they get back and forth to school. Let them see that, and they will emulate that, because that's what they look up to.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Hood to Hood is sponsoring 10 Kids for Christmas, and they are always taking donations for their food and clothing drives. You can find more information on our website, WRTV.com.
The first incident at this high school, there was one back in October, and we reported about it. Now, I did speak to some parents who say that they are afraid that something terrible could happen. Some mothers telling me that they're thinking of pulling their children out of the school. Parents are outraged after a number of fights broke out at Susan Wagner High School on Staten Island.
I don't know what's going on. I definitely am worried. There is an issue here.
On Monday at 3 p.m., police say two teens, a 16 and 19-year-olds, were attacked. They were punched repeatedly. At one point, one of the attackers pointed a gun at one of the boys. Police say the 16-year-old told them he was hit with a handgun in the face and head.
It's definitely not as safe as it used to be. It's definitely not the same school that used to be 2 years ago, before the pandemic.
So we kind of got to decode some of this stuff, man. What does he really mean, man? He says it's different. It's not the same school. What does he mean by that? Because he means something. Because this kid cannot really express himself. Even though we talk about glacier glider privilege, this kid did not have the privilege to articulate, to just be real. You know, a son man could come on, man, police, man, they killing us, race. Son teen could pour his heart out. This kid, he has about that much of a window to say it, and he's trying to tell us something.
It's definitely not as safe as it used to be. It's definitely not the same school that used to be 2 years ago, before the pandemic.
The DOE telling Fox 5 it is working closely with the NYPD to identify the suspects. On Tuesday, a day before, police say shots were fired near the high school. 3 individuals were taken into custody. One of them, a 16-year-old, now charged with criminal possession of a weapon and reckless endangerment.
I feel like the city is letting these kids have no repercussions. They get arrested, they get taken to the police, and then an hour or two later, they're let out again.
She sound like me, don't she? Wow. So it's like this everywhere. And we got to hear about this prison pipeline from these bonehead sisters on YouTube and Twitter. There's a prison pipeline, man. It's never been no prison pipeline. There's only a prison pipeline after you catch about 50 charges and the judge like, oh, man, I gotta lock you up now. You've been arrested 50 times and you just killed somebody. On the 51st time, I have to arrest you. That's their prison, their school to prison pipeline that they've been talking about all these years. Hit one if you knew that was the school to prison pipeline that they were talking about all these years. Because I know a lot of you guys didn't know it like before social media came about. Because, you know, you didn't know some people like that. Sunman knew it. Sunman knew it, but he was still going to go out there and tell you, you know, yeah, man, there's a school to prison pipeline, man. Yeah, after your 45th arrest.
I feel like the city is letting these kids have no repercussions. They get arrested, they get taken to the police, and then an hour or two later, they're let out again.
Back in October, a fight broke out in the gym. School safety agents were seen getting kicked to the ground as they attempted to intervene. As our camera...
Okay, guys, I couldn't show you that because those were young people. But I promise you, and they were beating up the police and doing, you know, beating each other up. And it was girls. Give me an idea on those girls. I'm not gonna tell you, but you see a lot of these kids at this school. You see the background of a lot of kids at this school. A lot of gliders at this school. Who do you think these girls that were basically trying to rip each other's heads off and simultaneously beating the crap out of police officers? Give me an idea on those girls.
Back in October, a fight broke out in the gym. School safety agents were seen getting kicked to the ground as they attempted to intervene. As our cameras were rolling this morning, metal detectors were going up. Also, more NYPD officers were standing outside the high school. But this isn't the only school where violence is on the rise. In October, 6 guns were found at 5 high schools and 1 middle school throughout the 5 boroughs. Last week at Urban Assembly School for Law and Justice in Brooklyn, a 17-year-old brought a gun into the school. The president of Local 237 says in 2019 there were 5,000 school safety agents. Now they're down 1,800.
I am afraid that somebody is going to get killed.
I had to do a double take. Okay, that says Gregory Floyd. I know this dude name ain't George Floyd.
The president of Local 237 says in 2019 there were 5,000 school safety agents. Now they're down 1,800.
I am afraid that somebody is going to get killed.
We did find out what the glider team was saying earlier. Well, things changed. So they don't have as many cops and safety agents, school safety agents in the schools anymore. So as long as there was maximum supervision and cops bustling with, security guards and people with uniformed armed personnel, as long as the schools had that, the Sun teens acted like they had some sense, at least a little teeny bit of sense during school hours. Once that was removed, all hell broke loose. So that's what that glider team was trying to tell us. Once you remove the police, once you remove security, once you removed authority, you unleashed the beast.
Now, the School Safety Division and the NYPD are providing assistance at arrival and dismissal. We're live on Staten Island. I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
At City Hall, and many of those bus drivers did not hold back. They said that they should not have to worry about going to work and getting attacked. A protest at City Hall. A march against violence towards CTA bus drivers.
We had a young man shot on Washington and Michigan in September. We had another young man who was assaulted last Saturday on Washington and Michigan.
Local 241 officials said the violence against bus drivers has escalated to levels they've never seen before.
At this point,
the violence against bus drivers has escalated to levels that they've never seen before. Is there anything that has not escalated? Any kind of violence or crime that has not escalated to levels people haven't seen before? Everybody's getting it. Boy, I hope that they do a congressional hearing and drag everybody who was championing that defund the police crap and that criminal justice reform. I hope they do a congressional hearing and drag those people up and make them answer, at least answer for this, because this is on their hands. Everybody's getting it. Bus drivers, kids in school, everywhere you look. And this is a city where all the bus drivers are Sun people, just trying to earn a decent living. And they're getting attacked by little Sun teens at a level that no one's ever seen before. And it was bad before. So think about that.
Local 241 officials said the violence against bus drivers has escalated to levels they've never seen before.
At this point right now, the members of Local 241 is frustrated. The members of Local 308 are frustrated with the amount of assaults that we have seen and encountered this year. Enough is enough. We're asking for somebody to give us safety for Christmas.
We want to go to work, put food on the table, a roof over our heads, and go home safely to our families at the end of the day. And that is not happening, and it needs to stop. And that's why we're here in solidarity.
Last weekend, a bus driver was hospitalized after two people beat him on Michigan Avenue near Monroe. While security firms started patrols at bus stops Friday, the union is calling on the city to step up safety protocols.
We out here.
They have private security guards, armed. Look at these people. These people are serious at bus stops. That's what This is embarrassing, man. As a son, man, I'm embarrassed by this, man. That this is what it takes. Like, this is how we act. That this is the type of stuff. Yeah, I get it. Defund the police, and I've already railed on that. But now we gotta. I'm a son. This is embarrassing. And if you're a son, man, too, hit one if this is embarrassing. And if you're a sister, like, are you embarrassed by this as well? Like, we know, very few of the attacks are done by sisters, but there's some. Y'all second place. I mean, like, us, we in first, y'all in second, and everybody else is in a distant third. But, yeah, how do you sisters feel? Like, is this embarrassing? Look at this. You got to have this at the bus stop just so we don't beat people up and attack them in broad daylight. And we're still doing it, but this help a little bit.
While security firms started patrols at bus stops Friday, the union is calling on the city to step up safety protocols.
We out here today for this rally just to let the city know, the mayor, President Dorval Carter, that we're tired. Our members are tired of coming to work and not being felt that they're safe.
This group says if safety doesn't improve,
that we're going to start taking some things into our own hands if they don't do some things.
and those bus drivers said that they will continue to protest until those attacks stop. Reporting live at City Hall, Rob Sneed, WGN News.
All right.